please. Good evening, everyone. It's Ron. It's a little after 6. So we'll go ahead and get started. Getting started this evening, I just want to say this. I think Pastor did a great job of speaking about this yesterday. But yesterday we had a our discussion at the end was a little different. So I just want to make sure we're all on the same page and nobody is upset or a little confused by that. But it got a little passionate is I think a good word for it. And so is everyone okay if anything we need to talk about?
May I speak to that?
Yes, please.
Um, that's going to happen from time to time, and there's not much we can do about that. Matter of fact, sometimes I think it happens. Well, all the time, rather, it happens because it's supposed to, and that's what took place yesterday. And out of that came a discussion, a deeper discussion on some of the things that we were talking about anyway. Now, again, I do agree that it did get a bit passionate, and I doubt very seriously if anyone took offense to that or if anyone was injured by that. And the reason I say that is because when we are on this journey searching for truth and realizing who we are, uh, we do not have the right to have those kinds of responses, regardless of how passionate they are. We don't have the right to talk about or to express dejected feelings because we're not victims. We are victors. And I don't I don't feel like it is really something that hurt someone. If it did, of course we want to know. But I simply wanted to express my understandings of it and how I embrace it. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Um, yeah, I agree with you. I think the manner in which we talk, those things are going to happen because there's nothing that's off limits that we won't talk about that we need to talk about. So um, people will get passionate about, and nothing here is scripted, right? There's nothing here that we have any rules or boundaries, and well, maybe some boundaries when we start talking about uh, certain things. We want to make sure that maybe kids or something on the line, but other than that, uh, we talk about just about everything. And one of the reasons why I asked, because I did not think we were finished with that. I think the fate of the earth right now and the way the world has been for hundreds and thousands of years is the combativeness between men and women, uh, even uh, in marriages, it has not been understood, and I'm talking for the most part, of course, not just so I didn't think we were finished with that. So the subject itself, do we have any questions or any comments on that portion of it, what we discussed yesterday? Anybody?
Yeah, good evening, Ron. This is George. I
Hey,
am
George.
George Robert Clark. But I just wanted to, say I appreciate, the comments that you make, because sometimes you may not know all who may be on the call. And so
Yeah,
I think if you
yeah.
have any questions, please reach to me. I think it's a great conversation. Yes, for like I said, for what it may be.
George, you're cutting out a little bit to me. Is he coming through to everybody else?
No, he broke up with me too.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I took myself off the speakerphone. I was just, but anyway, I was just saying that again, because sometimes there may be someone on the call that may be their first time caller, or it may be someone who
Yeah.
is not quite sure. It's just to be able to reach out, because I think again, it's something that's definitely a need for conversation. It's something that definitely empower us to realize that there's going to be times like a family, where we may, like you say, be passionate about something, but not to be discouraged or not to isolate yourself if it's a situation where you feel as though you just need some support with that. So I just wanted to, again, just share that thought. And again, I appreciate, you bringing it up in a way that, we all can appreciate the journey that we're on. So I just wanted to share those thoughts. I'm done.
Thank you, George. Yeah,
Thank you.
I'm sorry, Pastor. Go ahead.
No, I just said thank you. That's all.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else?
To
Yeah,
me, I think that it's good that you can get on the phone and you can express yourself. I might not be saying it right, but express yourself. You can ask questions and go deeper in the conversation. And sometimes you can talk about things of what you see in the world, what you're going through in the world, and what's happening. And a lot of stuff, it might, touch some people the wrong way, but we still got to talk through it.
yeah.
Charles, I agree with you. And regardless of how passionate we get about anything, the key thing is this: respect.
Yeah.
We must respect each other. There is always a respectful way to say it, even when we're passionate about it. And that's the only thing, not the only thing, but one of the primary things that I look for and expect from all of us, respecting each other. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ron, I'm sorry, this is Teresa. I do just want to add my thoughts, just a comment, but
Yes, ma'am.
we are on here to deal with on how we say what we say, and we have to be cautious of what we say and the words that we use. But again, it's how we say what we say and what we share with the passion. That's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Thank you. I couldn't agree more. The thing I wanted to add, Teresa and class, is we've talked about this before, that where we are right now, we're not in a physical place anymore. Yeah, everybody sits at their own house, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying we're on a spiritual journey, and in that spiritual journey, we know that there's no such thing as time. There's no such thing as space as we know it. We are grasping and handling things that have been a problem in the earth for thousands of years. And this passion, this can be expressed in many different ways. When you're talking about men and women, we're trying to bring balance to the earth. We're trying to bring balance with people, and so a lot of these things that we discuss, these passions may not be your own, is what I'm saying. Just like we talk about the thoughts that you have, and sometimes we as we all do, we have difficulty concentrating or meditating. And so I think we have entered a place where we are on a journey. We're in a good place, but we are probably in a space that we've never been in before, and we're feeling our way through it. And I love it. I love where we're. I think this is, as Pastor said, very much necessary. But
Correct, Ron. And Ron, I agree with everything that you're saying, because when I took this transition to move from Florida to South Carolina,
mhm.
I had no idea what chaos in the environment that I was coming into. And when I say to you, for 15 months, I've been dealing with this type of adversary, if you will.
Okay.
I've been, because of my counseling and my people that I'm reaching out to regarding Pastor as well, I've been learning how to deal with certain types of personalities and characters. And when you see this stuff on a day-to-day basis, when you're trying to protect yourself and your employees, when I tell you, it's hard.
Yeah.
But because I have this church and foundations, and I love all of you, but the fact that I know how to deal with it, I'm stronger than I was 15 months ago. Just sharing.
That's terrific.
Thank you. Yes,
Oh,
it is indeed.
Ron, let me say this. We have never had this discussion that you brought up today. Never. Why? Why is it necessary? Because we have never experienced this type of had yesterday. And that tells me that we are in an excellent place. Why do I say that? Because the first time that we really went in depth about anonymity and the power of it, and especially of the African woman, that is when the passion came out. So I'm saying that if we don't, if we do anything rather, that my thing would be to continue to grasp a really good grasp on femininity and how and the restoration of the African female. Why? Because everything we've talked about, none of it has come out like it did yesterday, and I'm grateful for it, because the Creator was showing us where the power is and the reason we have had so much resistance. That's it.
Pastor, or did everybody catch what Pastor just said? Is it just me? Did he break up to you guys?
I heard him.
No, I could hear him. We could hear him.
I heard him, Ron.
Okay.
I heard him too.
I moved to a different room so I could have better lighting, but maybe I need to go back to where I was. So you guys continue. I'm going to switch rooms, okay?
I want to ask a question, Pastor, if I may. This is Audrey. And I guess I'm being a little provocative, I don't know, but I'm going to ask the question. Isn't the nature of all of our relationships outside of our spouses platonic? I don't get it. I mean, if we're trying to show love and kindness to people, we're going to treat them in a certain way that shows them that we care about them, that we have a certain level of empathy and compassion for them. So is that not still a platonic relationship? I mean, I think the word is getting a bad rap for some reason or other. Because to me, any relationship outside of your spouse or other half or your partner is platonic. And if you're on a spiritual path where you're trying to treat everybody with loving kindness, then you're going to be good to those people and have a certain level of empathy and compassion for them. So I don't understand where the negative part of it comes in. I know it's an issue of, for some people, it's an issue of trust, but that's something that they have to deal with. Anyway, do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes, you bring up an excellent point. When in talking about platonic relationships, I think what has happened with that platonic relationship is that we have always looked at the negative, and the reason we've done that is because when we talk about platonic relationships, most of the time, what we hear next is, yes, make sure they don't get out of hand, they don't go too far, that kind of thing. And that puts a negative spin on it. However, when we look at the true nature of platonic relationships, then it is exactly what you described, Audrey. And I do appreciate you having brought it up from that point of view, because it makes all the sense in the world. Thank you. Ron? Ron, if you're on, Ron, you're muted. Thank you.
Okay. All righty.
Go ahead.
Well, as I said when we started, I didn't think we were finished with this. I think, and we've all have opinions and have seen things, but we're talking about based on who we are now in the journey that we're on, knowing what is right and trying to do what is right and trying to usher into the earth what is the right thing to be, and how to treat each other and how to treat other people, and having that type of love and respect. That's where we are. So the feelings, as we said, as we talk about this and maybe bring it up at another time as things come up. I think the freshness and the newness of this year really means something. This feels different to me than I think last year did. Maybe just my embracing things from a more mature place, I don't know. But I think when we speak on things and air it out, it does something. And we talk about it all the time, putting things in the macro. I really think that is a meaningful thing. So that's why, again, I thought this was important to look at again, and if somebody else has some portion of this that you wanted to address. Yes, sir.
The importance of this, I feel something. And this is the year of African femininity. We're going to see it everywhere we turn, in places of authority. The diminishing of the energy that's manifested through females in the earth has been stifled, has been beaten down, has been ignored, especially the energy of the African female. That has changed. And I ask you to pay attention to how things are manifesting. And when I say how things are manifesting, I'm talking about the positions, the places, the statements that comes from the hearts of African females in particular, and Africans in general. I see the structural decline of organized religion in this country, in this earth. It is so fractured until there are advertisements on TV for people to come back to the church, the evangelical church in particular. Do you know you're going to heaven? There is a way you can know for sure. It's one of the commercials. The African church in this world is based upon, or its foundation is, the evangelical church or the churches established by Europeans. And the structural fractures in these European congregations, whether it be Baptist, Methodist, it doesn't matter. The fractures are there. And the demise of them also speaks to the demise of the African congregations as well. Because without the foundation of the European churches, the African church has no foundation whatsoever. It was never intended for the journey of spirituality to be a journey based upon business principles. The journey is spiritual, and that's it. The structures that are in the churches around the world are based upon capitalism. Has nothing to do with the spirituality. Spirituality has nothing to do with capitalism, but everything to do with us capitalizing on this time that we live in for the express purpose of introducing the world to spiritual power. And I'm not talking about lip service. I'm talking about spiritual power being exhibited in such a powerful way that the manifestation cannot be denied. That has not happened, and that will not happen in the churches that we see, or that the ones we grew up in, the ones that were established for the express purpose of controlling people. I'm well aware of how some people feel when it comes to the elevation of the African woman. I hear people when they say, I hear you when you say, but what about the African man? The African man was an intricate part of the diminishing of the African woman. And that restoration has to come through African masculinity. The railing against that is an offspring of racism. The earth will never be elevated, will never experience harmony until Shekinah, is on the throne of the hearts of humanity. Shekinah is never a he. It is never masculine. It is always feminine. And we have eaten it up, hook, line, and sinker, by referencing the spirit in masculine terms. Everything in the scriptures is a he. Elohim is not a he, it's a it. Shekinah is not a he. It is feminine, it's a she. The seed of the African must be restored so that African can restore what that African has taken apart in destroying or denigrating. There are also those who feel like we are placing the African woman above everyone. I want to say to you, you are absolutely right. She will no longer be a footstool to anyone. She will be revered because of the womb that brought all of mankind into the earth. If you study the history of Buddhism, you will see it was an African woman who was revered. Buddhism came out of Africa. It did not take the shape that it took until Europeans invaded India. We must be cognizant of these things. There are efforts as I speak to you. Archaeologists are saying we need to look into Australia for the beginning of mankind instead of looking into Africa. That is no coincidence. They're saying, the archaeologists are saying that the Aborigines are the original people in the earth. Yet, the language, the hieroglyphics that are found in America, in the Grand Canyon, in South America, in Australia, all of them are hieroglyphics that are written the same way they are in the pyramids of Egypt. And I do not like the term Egypt. I do not like the term Kemet. Haku Ptah is not the name of a town or city or country. Ptah is a place that's respected as the hill of Ptah. Hieroglyphics didn't come from Egypt. They came out of Northern Africa. And the reason it's said about Egypt is because it diminishes Africa. It takes Africa out of the equation. When we know that the ones who are there in that place called Egypt now, the ones who are there in Northern Africa are not descendants of the Twa. They are there as a result of Eurasian invasion, Europeans and Asian invasions. That's the origin of those who are there now. I'm telling you what I am experiencing at the moment. This is a year like no other year in the history of the world. It's so close to a creation or the creation until it's frightening. Watch and see how things unravel this year. The very system that is the power and the strength of racism, the power and the strength of every thief on the earth, is in the throes of destruction right now. Do not be afraid of who sits in the presidency. Whoever is there to continue to unravel this mess so that we can realize harmony in the earth. Passion is necessary. Disrespect is not. Too long, we have not respected the womb from which we emanated. I listened at something today. This African woman was talking about there would be no Western world, period, if it were not for the African. She talked about everything that was in Africa's womb was stolen. And that is what kept, what made the Western world survive. It wasn't because it was a mutual agreement. It was taken. It was stolen. And the African has never recovered from that. And the African will never recover from that. It will not be a Kabbalah anymore until the African womb that's in this nation bears fruit again. And it cannot bear fruit unless the seed who recognizes and reveres the whole yearly the womb of the African that the seed is planted in. What am I talking about? I'm not talking about a physical seed. I'm talking about the seed of spirituality. When we mistreat that African woman and put her under our feet rather than the crown of all of humanity. When we do that, when we speak harshly of her, when we denigrate her, we are making an attempt to put a dead seed in that womb. The attempt of a dead seed. What is a dead seed? The ideas, concepts, the policies, the governmental bodies, the bodies of religion are all European, and we are making efforts to put that in that womb and denigrate the womb at the same time. It's not going to happen. I am an African man, and I understand that it is the seed of my soul that I must embrace the African womb with. It is from the depths of my soul that I hold dear the womb that brought everything into existence. No human can deny where it came from. And yet, we have treated it as if it was nothing. I'm not talking about how you do individually, I'm talking about collectively. And I am declaring that collectively, we are the influence that brings balance. But there is no man, there is no masculine energy anywhere that can bring balance to the earth. It was masculine energy that threw it out of balance. It has to be birthed from the beginning. It has to be birthed from the beginning. And the beginning of that birth is the spiritual womb of a Kabbalah. And we must respect that womb. this year, we are going to see the results of the 1619 project. Think about it this way. It caused more discussion, more outrage than anything else that was written during that period. Why did it cause so much rage? Because it's the truth. And that truth did not come from masculine energy. That truth came through the African woman. And she has been denigrated, and she has had people to have rage against her from the time that she did it until this day, and it continues. Our passion must be directed at the restoration of feminine energy. And the throne that this African energy sits on must be our heart. That doesn't put anyone down, but it elevates everyone. We talk about how a mother takes care of the children, sacrifice for the children. How come we can't see that with the Shekinah? The Shekinah loves her offspring so much until she is willing to do whatever it takes to bring balance to her offspring. We are so afraid of our masculinity until every time we recognize and embrace femininity, there's an outcry. What about us? Us won't be until she is. I'm done. Questions, comments? I'm done. Does that resonate with any of you?
Yes, very much.
Yes, sir.
indeed does.
Yes, yes.
This is
It
the power.
resonates with me.
Thank you. This is who we are. This is who we are. That's why things appeared to be different in a negative way yesterday. They were not negative. The Creator knew it was going to happen. All of these things that came out of it are necessary. Go ahead. I'm done.
No, I guess my question would be, what would you have? What should we meditate on? What should we do here? What if our hearts are in this? What do we do here?
Still, and know that I am God. Hear me well. Be still and know that I am is Elohim. Without I am, you don't know you're Elohim. So just be still. It doesn't mean that we don't bring understanding from the Holy Book or from the scriptures. It doesn't mean that at all. Being still means that we're not trying to make it be what we think it ought to be. Just be still and know that I am is Elohim. We have mistranslated that. We have misunderstood that. Knowing that I am is Elohim is not saying that the only Elohim is the one who created us, because it created us in its image. So Elohim exists in our bodies in this earth realm, just as it does, just as it did at the day that it brought us into existence. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Just be still. The voice. Scripture tells us this. The voice is not in the whirlwind. It's a still small voice. The louder you talk, the more you talk over, the more you fight to hold the status quo, the less you realize who you are. Who you are is not determined by lip service. Who you are is determined by what you embrace in your life. If you are incapable, or if you are not desirous of embracing who you are, you will never function as Elohim in this earth. Embracing who we are. We were brought together for a reason. Let me put it in a term that you've heard 1,000 times. We were brought into this earth for such a time as this. No other period of time could have embraced what we are doing because it wasn't time. Do you think that the Creator did not know what it was doing when it brought this nation across the waters? Why did it take so long for us to embrace who we are? It was purposed that way. Try everything in the earth. No different than the woman with the issue of blood. I've tried everything. I've been everywhere looking for a cure. I've not been able to find a cure. So all of what I'm going to do is touch the hem of his garment. What am I saying to you? We have been living with an issue of blood. Life has been draining from us since the invasion of our people. Life has been draining from the earth. And we tried everything to be delivered from the issue of blood, the life draining from us. Why am I saying life and blood? Because the life of man is in the blood. That's what I'm saying. Until now. Politics is not going to do it. Religion did not do it. Both of those, the government as well as the church continue to drain life from humanity and is still doing it. And COVID said it's time for it to end. We are here to stop the bleeding. We are here to prevent life from being drained from this earth. Doesn't matter how we got here. We are here, and none of us would be here if it were not purposed to be. I believe that with everything in me. We were not brought together simply to have academic discussions. We were brought together to weave a tapestry of change that favored no group but change everyone. We cannot deviate from the path that we are set upon. Deviation is not an option. I'm telling you, if it's only one person, I'm still going to be where I am traveling this journey. If you choose not to, that's your choice. You can't choose for me. I can't choose for you. It is what it is. I am where I am. And it's something that I heard all my life, from a little boy till now. Be careful who you hang with. Association brings on assimilation. Have you not heard that?
Yeah.
You can't play both sides. You're going to be spiritual or religious. You're going to be spiritual and non-political. Even though you do what you're supposed to do there, your expectations is not for the government to change anything, because it has shown it can't do that. It's not for the church to change you. It has been shown it cannot do that. It's you who changes you. And you can't change you if you are not searching for truth. And when you search for truth, we look all around it. And when we find truth, we find that truth looks like us. Now, I'm not talking about skin tone. I'm talking about truth is who we are. Truth is who we were created to be. Truth is our destiny. And when your destiny is truth, you don't have a destination because you never end. Humanity is in need of truth. No, I'm not arrogant. No, I don't want to hear who you think you are, who you think you guys are. What makes you think that you have all this power? What makes you think that you're right in what you do? Well, hell, if you don't believe we're right, why are you here? Look at the results. Look at the manifestations. Believe me. If you don't believe the words, if you don't believe what we're saying, believe us for the work's sake. You have seen the manifestations of what we have been projecting, what we have been understanding. You cannot deny that unless you want to be a liar. I have said to the Creator numerous times, if I ever influence or lead your people in the wrong direction, disconnect my life from this body, because I'm worthless to humanity. And I still stand by that. Everything we teach, I believe it. With everything in me. I believe it so much so until I will go someplace else and teach what you said, because I know that your commitment is so deep. Until you are not going to teach anything that you are not sure of, that does not resonate with you. This is our year to see manifestations that the earth has been waiting on for years. And that comes because Shekinah, is on its throne and is not being referenced as something that is not. Words are powerful. Words mean something. And if you call the Shekinah or he, you have diminished the power that you are. You're not aware of who you are. If you are so caught up in masculinity until you cannot see leadership and femininity, then you got a problem with your masculinity. Have no issues with that. Whatever it takes. It's what we said at the onset. Teachers, we said that. Whatever it takes. I still stand by that. Whatever it takes. And it has taken a lot out of us. It took us from our building in Gaffney. It took us from our building in Columbia. Why do I bring that up? Great New Faith, we have been looking for a stable place to be for years. And we found that stability when Linda found that building. We thought it was stability because we had our own place. Same thing in Columbia. We searched for a place to be stable. We moved more times than I like to remember, but we found that place where we could be stable. And we learned at the same time that stability is not in a building in Gaffney, neither is it in a building in Columbia. Stability is in us. Whether we're on this line and doing what we're supposed to do or not, that's totally up to you. But I understand that my God, the one who created me, does not live in that building. And guess what else? Elohim, who I am, does not live in a building. It lives in this body, so this body can function. It's not brick and mortar. It's blood and spirit. That's life in this earth. I'm done. I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
Good evening, Ron.
I'm feeling it. I feel it up.
Yes, sir.
George?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Pastor, you mentioned this year, 2024. You mentioned the word destiny. Spiritual meaning of the number 10 is the number for destiny. It's the language of the universe. It talks about the message that your destiny is all about what is possible for you, your gifts, your talents, and your unique insights all coming together to create an expression of creation. Just believe. Literally, anything is possible. So again, speaking on the new year, 2024, it's the number of destiny. So I just wanted to share that insight, Pastor Richard.
Thank you. We're not destined to fail. There is no failure. There is no failure. I remember I'm pastoring and I hear this song, God has not failed me yet. I didn't know anything about what I know now. But even then, I said to them, if you can't take the yet off of that, don't sing it. Because when you say God hasn't failed me yet, it means that your expectation is that God is going to fail you. If you can't leave the yet off, don't do it. Would you mute your phone, please, Evelyn?
Sorry about that.
That's okay. I'm done. You can't fail. You can't fail. You can't fail. How many people in Foundation, in Greater New Faith, died with COVID? Come on, y'all. How many died from COVID?
Not one.
Not one. That's no coincidence. That's a plan. That's a purpose. Why? Because we recognize something. We recognize the plague for what it was, and we heeded it. And we didn't miss a beat. And through that, look where we are. It brought all of us to a central place. And the power that we exude, the energy that we not only emit, but the energy that we are able to capture within our being is much more stronger and powerful than it was when we were separate places. We are in the same space. And guess what? We could not be on this, on Zoom or the phone if it were not for energy. We have repurposed the energy that the earth uses for itself. We have repurposed this energy to benefit humanity, bringing humanity to an awareness of who it is. When we talked about repurposing energy, we've already done that. Look at what we are able to do when we repurpose this energy. It's a righteous cause. I'm done. I'm on mute to make sure I'm done this time.
Questions or comments, anyone? I think this has been great this evening. I think it's been beautiful. I think it's a lot has been said in a very short period of time that we can go back and meditate on, go back and consider. And so with that said, if there are not any, yes, sir.
I thought I was finished.
I knew better, but go ahead.
Every seed that has any connection to us in terms of our being brought into this earth for this cause, when you embrace the reality of who the Shekinah is, when you embrace the reality of the African womb, the African femininity, when you embrace that, what you are doing is impregnating that African womb. And when the seed of righteousness enters the womb of Shekinah, it births righteousness. I'm not talking about Audrey or Kathy. I'm not talking about your physical womb. I'm talking about the womb of a Kabbalah. And every one of you, you are not a female for no reason. The Creator put you in our view to show us how we are to be with each other, how we become one together. And we thought that the way we become one is through something called marriage after having a wedding. No. We become one when we embrace, when it resonates deeply with us, that what you see as a male is actually the seed that impregnates Shekinah. What you see as a woman is the Shekinah. That's what it manifests to us. That's what we ought to embrace when we see that. if you embrace, if I look at this female and I see that this female is a Shekinah, I believe that, then I'm going to be different when I approach the Shekinah. I'm going to be different how I speak about Shekinah. I'm going to be different about how I treat Shekinah. Does that make sense?
Yes.
If I think, for instance, that masculinity runs everything, I have totally disrespected Shekinah. And I'm saying repent. Because we have lived and we have been indoctrinated in a male-dominated society, a society that has no womb whatsoever. And because it does not have a way of producing anything, it seeks to destroy everything. It doesn't know any better. We are beyond that now. We are beyond that. I heard this today, this lady says, and I sent it to the teachers, that the reason white people get upset when people of color support the Palestinians, but they don't get upset when white people support Ukraine. Because white people believe that they're supposed to support Ukraine. That's because they look like you. Look like them. But we cannot support brown people who look like us. Why? Why can't we? Because it has been determined that nobody on this earth of color would ever have the power to govern any white person on this earth. And I'm paraphrasing what she said, but you have it, listen at it. That has changed. I'm not upset with the Europeans in what's called Israel. I'm not upset with them. I'm not upset. I'm not upset with what the Europeans are doing. I'm not upset with that. Why? Because they're doing what they do, right? They're doing what they do. Guess what? Now we are doing what we do. And what we do is not a war with instruments made by men. Spiritual war is how we battle. And the war that we battle in doesn't destroy anything. It restores everything. We are restorers. We are not destructionists. And that is the reason there were no armies, there were no warriors in Africa until they were forced to defend themselves. That doesn't make us docile. That doesn't make us weak. We're only weak because we think we're weak. None of that makes us weak. Whatever has been done to us or said about us, it doesn't make us weak. It's been allowed to be said. So one day we will be shaken to a place where we are awakening and realize that we are the greatest power on earth if we know who we are. And we can make it better, even for those who have sought to destroy us. We do not respond in kind. We don't have a hell that punishes people for putting their hand in the cookie jar. No, that doesn't exist. We are healers of the breach. That's who we are. Healers of the breach. And we birth heal us of the breach. I'm done. And maybe I need to just get offline so I will be done for real, for real. Because muting didn't work that time. But I'm done.
You sure? I'm gonna wait a couple minutes.
No, I'm done.
Any questions, y'all? Seriously? Questions, comments? Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yes, it does indeed.
Indeed, it does.
Yes, it do.
Thank you.
Amen.
Get off the wall and walk the pathway. Get off the wall. The longer you stay on the wall, the more you are in danger of falling in the wrong direction. The pathway of religion is not the way. Get off the wall. Get off the wall. Get off the wall and travel the journey. Get off the wall. Religion has killed people during this COVID because people were told, don't wear masks. God got you. The God that they were talking about wasn't the one who created us. Because the one who created us allowed COVID into this area, into this earth. No, the God of religion says God got us. That God got nobody because it has no power.
Thank you, sir. Great place to call it an evening, guys, if there are no questions or comments. If you do, as always, send a text or hold it for Saturday, and that's where we will begin, okay? Thanks again. I hope everyone have a great rest of the evening and the rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good week.
Thanks.